Hi everyone, it's Stephanie, and in today's video we are going to be creating a grouping of Valentine treats using a bunch of new products from our January release. There is all kinds of different love theme and heart theme products, and they all work really nicely together. So I wanted to show you some ways that you can mix and match all of the new products to create these different Valentine treats. So this is just a look at all of the things that we'll be creating in the video. So we have a card with a little interactive maze, which features our new heart maze shapes. I have a little treat bag, and we're going to create the little topper that I added on that. I have this pencil here that has this fun heart detail that I added to the end of the pencil, so I'll show you how we can create that. And then we also have these little mini Hershey Kisses, and I've created little stands that kind of poke out from the top of them, and they look really cute when they stand up because you have that heart detail kind of sticking up off of the toothpick. It's just a really fun way to add a little bit of detail to just a plain Hershey Kiss. So these are all of the projects we're going to create, so let's go ahead and get started with the first one. And the really great thing about all of these different projects is they're relatively easy to create, so they don't take a lot of time, so they work really nicely if you have young children and you want to make little gifts for their classmates. This is a great way to kind of use all of these supplies together to do that. So for the interactive maze card, I went ahead and cut out all of my cardstock pieces, and I have the stitched heart peekaboo window die, and we're going to create a little opening inside this white panel. So the panel's already been cut with an A2 stitch rectangle stacks die to give it a finished edge, and now I've cut out the heart from the center of that. I also have a piece of white cardstock that's just cut into a square, and that's going to be the back area of our maze. So I have a heart shaker pouch as well as one of our new heart maze shapes, and I'm just adhering the shaker pouch to this white panel, and then I'm going to add the maze to the top of this little square here, and we're going to add this all together and adhere it closed. And before I adhere it all together, I am adding one of the little silver balls into the maze so that it can be played as a game. And then I'm just positioning the top panel right over top, and I already have adhesive on there, and I'm just pressing down to glue that little white cardstock piece to the back there. And that's just going to hold our maze piece in and keep it all together. So now that I have the maze part complete, I can go ahead and do my stamping. Now you may want to do your stamping on the panel before you add the maze, just because it does add a little bit of bulk, but I didn't have any problem at all stamping my sentiment and the little hearts after I had already put the maze in. So I'm using this stamp set, Valentine Wishes, and I'm just stamping the XOXO underneath of the heart, and then I also stamped 3 of those little solid hearts with some wild cherry ink. Once I had the stamping done, I just layered all of the panels one on top of another until I had a completed card. So you can see how quick and easy that was to put together. Now for the pencil topper here, I'm going to create first this little heart that we're going to use the peekaboo striped heart to create. Now the thing about this die when you die cut it is it doesn't cut out the parameter of the heart, it only cuts out the stripe detail inside of the heart. So in order to get the heart shape, I just use my scissors and cut all the way around that, and it takes no time at all, and it's super easy to kind of follow that shape. I also cut out a pink glitter heart from the stitch peekaboo heart window that we used on the first card, and I'm going to layer that on top of the striped heart. To add the sentiment, I just have a strip of white cardstock, and I'm using the From the Heart stamp set and adding a sentiment as well as a couple of solid hearts. And now I'm just going to take another pencil to create the little treat here. So I just have a bunch of Valentine pencils that I bought at the dollar store. And you can see here that you can quickly add the pencil right through all of those stripes in the heart because you have the open areas. It kind of is a great way to secure that onto the pencil. And then I'm going to layer both the glitter heart and the sentiment strip right over top of that with a little bit of adhesive. And I like to put the sentiment strip on a little bit of a diagonal to go with the shape of the heart. So you can see that's another quick and easy craft, and that would be great for a non-kind of candy treat if you don't want to create something that has candy. Now we're going to move on to the Hershey Kisses. So this one is probably the easiest out of all 4. I just have some red toothpicks, and I've put the toothpicks right into the top of the Hershey Kiss, and then I've created a little topper at the very top of that toothpick. So I have the full of heart die, and I also have hearts in a row horizontal. Now it doesn't matter if you use hearts in a row horizontal or vertical because we just want to use that heart that's in that die set, and they are the same size. So what I did here is I just cut out a bunch of red hearts from the hearts in a row horizontal, and then I'm also adding a little pink heart to the front of those that I used the full of heart die to die cut. Once I have 2 hearts ready to go, I'm just layering them back to back on the very top of the toothpick and making sure I have a lot of adhesive on there so that they really stick both to the toothpick and to the other heart when I add them together. Now to change it up, I wanted to add a sentiment to a few of them as well. So I'm just using that From the Heart stamp set once again, because the sentiments in this are really tiny, so it's really great for a project like this. So I stamped a different sentiment on this one, and you can see I just kind of layered it over the heart. So it's quick and easy to make all of these heart toppers, and then you can add them to a bunch of toothpicks for a fun little Valentine treat. Now for the last one, this is just a bag topper, and these are really easy to make as well. It's pretty much just a piece of cardstock that we fold in half and add some design to. So for the width of the treat topper, you just want to make sure it's the same size as the bag that you're using to hold the treat. So mine is as wide as the bag that I'm using, and I made it 4 inches tall. So I scored it at 2 inches at the halfway mark, and that's where I'm going to fold it to kind of fold it over top of my treat bag. Now I want to create the Be Mine banner on here, so I took the stitch line that comes with that banner die, and I ran it through my die cutting machine on the bag topper, and that just gave me a fun little decorative edge so that I can add my banner pieces directly on there. So to put the banner together, I cut it out of white cardstock, red cardstock, and I also cut the little heart out of that same pink glitter cardstock that we had used on a previous project. And I'm just taking my liquid glue pen and I'm adding the adhesive directly to these white banner pieces, and then I'm adding them all to the treat topper. And having that stitch line really helps to keep everything straight and spaced nicely apart. Now to finish it off, I want to add the letters back in here, but I want them to be the red cardstock, so I'm just using the liquid glue once again, adding all of those letters back in, and then I also added in that glitter heart. Now I felt like the cardstock panel was too plain. I wanted to add a little bit more detail to it. So I decided to do a little bit of stamping with Versamark ink, which is a great clear ink that when you stamp with it, it kind of leaves like a watermark look. So I'm taking some of the hearts from the 100% Lovable stamp set, and I'm stamping these all the way around that banner on there just to give a little bit of subtle tone-on-tone pattern, and I think it really adds to the overall look. Once that's done, our little bag topper is finished, so you can see I scored it to really give it a nice fold, and then you just adhere it right over top of the bag. So if you wanted to make a bunch of these, I would make all the banners together, and then I would add them to the different treat bags. So there is all of the projects we completed today. Super quick and easy, very simple to recreate, and it's a great project to do with kids. So I hope you enjoyed these ideas for using all of your new January release products, and I will see you in another video soon. Thanks so much for watching.